What's good, Ravens fans? Tyler Jones here. We'll talk playoff picture for your Baltimore Ravens in just a moment. But first, if you want the number one seed in the AFC, here's what I need you to do. Like today's video. Don't jinx it. Don't let me come find you and be the guy that didn't like today's video and ruin the Ravens' chances of getting that number one overall seed. And if you're thinking like, what's this guy talking about? Don't even risk it. Just go ahead and hit that like button, and we'll get started with today's show. The playoff picture for your Baltimore Ravens. Vibes are good. Things feel great for the Baltimore Ravens right now as they are on track to capture that top seed in the American Football Conference. But the next 3 weeks, as the Ravens wrap up the regular season, are going to be very tough for what's ahead. Let's take a look at the playoff picture, where things stand for Baltimore right now. You can see they already clinched a playoff spot. They are in the tournament no matter what with that 11-3 record at this point. And then you see the Dolphins are a game back at 10-4. Those two teams will meet here next week. The Chiefs at 9-5, the Jags at 8-6. The wild card picture, a couple familiar teams within our own division here, with the Browns at 9-5, the Bengals at 8-6, and the Colts holding the last playoff spot at 8-6. Still plenty of teams in the hunt as well, including the Pittsburgh Steelers at 7-7 there. So the Ravens 11-3, number one seed in the AFC. Now, the clinching scenarios. What does this team need to do for the next few weeks ahead? Well, the playoff spot we mentioned is already taken care of, so that's box number one. You were going to be in there. But then winning the AFC North can happen this week, and here's how. There's two possible scenarios that could occur here. One is a Baltimore win and a Cleveland loss or tie. Then you are printing the T-shirts for the Baltimore Ravens, and we'll be selling those shirts if they do indeed happen. Option number two is a Baltimore tie. Now, it may be like kissing your sister, but it's still a division title, and a Cleveland loss. And those two things, you're in good shape. Now, as far as the number one seed goes, you can clinch it. We already know this much, beyond just different teams losing, by winning the next 2 weeks. You win these next 2 weeks, you have that number one seed locked up, and then you head into week 18 with a chance to rest your starters at that point, give them 2 weeks off before they'd be playing their first playoff game. Now, when the New York Times is not printing propaganda, they come up with their playoff predictor formula, machine, and method. And this is how they shape things up for the percentages for the Baltimore Ravens. They include getting that first-round bye week with that number one overall seed, about a 76% chance right now. Hosting a wild card game, which is not what we want, but still would be better than being a wild card team, at about a 20% chance. And then as a wild card team, just a 4% chance at this point. So those numbers are in the Ravens' favor. Everything is looking pretty good for this Ravens team as they head towards the final stretch. Now, let's ask you, is it going to happen? Will this Ravens team close the door and seal up home field advantage in the AFC? Chime in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Why for yes, in for no. If the Ravens will get the job done or not on our pinned comment today, let me know. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for tickets to sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more. The best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. Don't be messing with those shady scalpers. Trust yourself with Game Time here. Here's how it works. Very simple, folks. Choose the event you want to go to. All the prices are listed. You get the seat. You get to zoom in and see if you like that seat or not. Look for those flash deals. And then, within a matter of moments, you're checking out. You got your tickets just like that. You decide on a whim you want to go to the Ravens game just like that. You got your tickets downloaded. It's right there for you. And because I'm a nice guy and Christmas is around the corner, I am offering you, yes you, $20 off your first purchase with Game Time when you use the promo code RavensChat. So take advantage of this Christmas gift for you with promo code RavensChat at checkout for $20 off. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Game Time, proud partner of Ravens Rundown. Promo code RavensChat. Download today. Terms and conditions do apply. Now, although the Ravens are in good shape, let's go over a rooting guide of sorts for this upcoming weekend ahead. Let's start with the Bengals and the Steelers. In a perfect world, both teams lose, but I guess here we go, Steelers don't, and I'm hearing it from Jack Sparrow in the background, just like that. You talk about timing, gross. Then we move ahead to the Dolphins and Cowboys game, and I feel almost just as gross about saying it as like I did with the Steelers. How about them Cowboys? Yeah, I guess we're rooting for the Cowboys against the Dolphins there, but we'll face the Dolphins next week anyway. And then the Raiders taking on the Chiefs. Raider Nation, although the Chiefs are a couple games back, they're not a huge threat at this point, but wouldn't hurt if the Raiders can take care of business in that one. The next few games ahead, let's break those down piece by piece for the Ravens here. It starts out on Monday Night Football. This could be a Super Bowl preview here. These are the top two seeds in the AFC and the NFC matching up. This is as tough as it gets for a road matchup. You're going to the other coast. It's Christmas night and everything. And you look at that Niners team with, as well as they're playing, as good as any team in football. That defense is phenomenal. The offense has a lot of great weapons, from McCaffrey to Debo, and Brock Purdy's doing a great job as their starting quarterback. You have a tough task ahead with this San Francisco 49ers team. I would argue this is your toughest game of your entire season with this matchup going on the road here to San Francisco there. Then, Week 17, you're back home taking on Miami. And that Miami offense is so explosive, right? Their defense, a little questionable, but their offense can hang with anybody. And we saw firsthand last year when these two teams squared off, when ultimately the Dolphins got the best of the Ravens in a comeback win. It is potentially going to be a shootout here, and you got to have guns a-blazing and be ready to go toe-to-toe with the Dolphins team that can put up points and score quickly the way they do and try to slow down Tyreek Hill to some extent of sorts in that game. Then you wrap up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Week 18. And you could be in a situation, you win the previous two, as we mentioned, then this game doesn't even matter at that point. Then you could potentially sit your starters here. But if that is not the case, and you do end up playing your starters Week 18, the Steelers are still hanging around, at least for now, in that playoff race. And we've seen their defense play really good at times this year. I know they've had their questions with their offense and the quarterback position, but a rivalry game, you can never underestimate the Pittsburgh Steelers and their abilities here. So a tough stretch ahead these final 3 weeks for Baltimore to wrap up. More to come here on Ravens Rundown, but first, want to make sure you're subscribed to the channels. We're talking about your team each and every day with daily news and rumors, mailbags, live shows, watch parties, and more. And good news, Ravens fans, as we head towards the run to the playoffs, the final stretch, we're going to be with you. We got some incredible watch parties ahead, including Monday night. We're going to be live for every playoff game as well. So if you love this team, you want to be a part of what we're doing on the channel, join the movement. Subscribe now for free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Stay up to date. We got you covered here on the channel, right here on Ravens Rundown. All right, let's go over 5 things you need to know about the Ravens playoff situation before we wrap up today. They have the second toughest remaining schedule in the entire NFL with those final 3 games. Their opponent's win percentage is just a notch below 67%. All 3 upcoming opponents are playoff contenders. San Francisco, we mentioned, the 1 seed in the NFC. Miami, the 2 seed in the AFC. And Pittsburgh right there trying to hang on and get one of those final playoff spots. You're also facing a lot of talent, and not just anybody. You're facing elite MVP candidates. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, these guys that all have a shot at this point with a wide-open race to win the MVP award here coming down to the final stretch. Now, the only team that you have faced of these final 3 is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you lost to them back in Week 5, a game that you were favored, that you led for 3.5 quarters, that you had no excuse losing. So that can't be taken lightly. Something to think about there of what Pittsburgh was able to do in that previous matchup, and some stuff to learn from that game earlier. And you are coming in on a 4-game winning streak. So you could look at that one of 2 ways. Either the Ravens are peaking at the right time and they have a lot of momentum, or they could be due for a loss, and these things catch up to them. So we'll see ultimately what happens. 15 weeks in, 3 weeks to go. What's your confidence level in this Baltimore Ravens team right now? Scale of Formula 1 through 10. My confidence is pretty good with what we've seen, both sides of the football. This looks like a complete football team. I'm giving this about an 8.5. Not a rookie score here. We like decimals around here. I'm going 8.5. Give me your scale for your confidence level for the Ravens right now. If you enjoyed today's video, if you want the Ravens to get that top seed in the AFC, hit the like button. We'd appreciate it. We'll see you next time here on Ravens.